This is a follow-up to a video I made a few months ago. What's the world's greatest role-playing game? Spoiler alert, it's not D&D 5e. I did have a part 2 up to this. Part 2 of this made a few months ago, but I unlisted it because I didn't really like how I presented myself in that video. I'll probably put a link to that video in the description of this video. That video I made, I was going to need a part 3. I think I'll just do all of part 2 and 3 in this video. Today I'm drinking ginger ale. So, I've been having issues with alcohol at the moment. So where to start? You want a game for... I'll start where I left off abruptly in that last video for a few months. You want a game for new players, which is something that a lot of people claim D&D 5e is good at. And I say it's not better at it than any other game, really. I mean, there's some games that are worse. I'm looking at you, say... GURPS, or say Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. Maybe the Burning Wheel, kind of. But what is a good game for new players? That really depends what you mean by new players. If you want something for children, which I think a lot of people conflate new players with, and they aren't the same. You can have adults getting into role-playing games, or teenagers getting into role-playing games. What's the difference, really? What's the difference, really? In there's a difference in maturity level, but not much of a difference in intelligence. Or you could have children, like actual children, 12-year-olds, getting into tabletop role-playing games. And with children, you probably want a game that doesn't have much math. Say BX Essentials or Lamentations of Flame Princess. If you use the artless version and you don't give them the whole rule book. That actually is kind of a weird point. A lot of the really rules-light games are not really appropriate to children, but it's really just the art and maybe some of the themes and the stories that is bad. Yeah. If you want a rules-light game, which is something that doesn't shy away from math, but doesn't go full-on heavy on the rules, so that you can use it as a teaching for how to role-play. Roll with an E, not roll with 2 L's. Good ones are Fate. Good ones are the ones I mentioned before. Pretty much any OSR that isn't based on Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. The BX kind of OSRs. I don't know, Vampire. Vampire's pretty good at being roleplay heavy. Ooh. Really, a game that's good for new players is any game that's good for long-term players. That's the point I really made in my last video. So what's a game that's good for established players, adept level play? It's really the game you want to run. I can give you bad games, I can give you average games, and really, if it boils down to it, D&D 5e isn't slightly below average game. That's hype is what makes it really bad, I think there wouldn't be nearly... I can go into the reasons why I dislike 5e, but that's a different video. Stay positive, stay positive. It's really what's games best for what you're doing. I got Still have the same prop from the last video of highest rated games on certain sites. Fate is up there. It's a good game for new players and it's a good game for traditional players. All of the basic role-playing games, Chaosium-esque things, you know, Pendragon, Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is actually I believe it's currently the second biggest tabletop role-playing game in the United States, according to some metrics. And I think it deserves that spot. It's a good game. It's not good for everything, but it's what it does well. It's also basic role-playing, as I was talking about. Again, the storyteller system, you know, mage, vampire. Those are good games, no matter what people say. I would lean more to V20 over V5. You know, the 20th anniversary over the 5th edition. I think the Vampire 5th edition is not as good a game as the 20th anniversary edition, but really, we're not arguing about editions here. We're arguing about games. Delta Green, another basic role-playing game, and it's really good. It's Call of Cthulhu, but different setting. Modern day setting, modern day government agents. What else is on here? Is a good game. Really, it's whatever game you want to play, but don't choose a game for the campaign you want to play, don't force a game to run a campaign it is not good for. Don't force There's a game for everything. You don't have to make piles upon piles of small homebrew rules to get a game to work for what you want it to work for. If you want to make piles upon piles of small homebrew rules to get a game to work for a different setting than it is meant for, look at the games that are meant for the setting you want to make. So look at the games that are meant for the kind of setting you want to run a game in. The kind of campaign you want to run, because setting and themes of the campaign are big in what kind of game you want to run. You want to run a modern day campaign, Delta Green is not going to work for everything. So you look at the games that work for the campaign you want to run, and then you look at what they have in common, what kind of rules they have, and if you want to homebrew all of those rules to a system that you like to play, you can do that. It's a lot of work for not much effort, and you are arguably just making a worse system. You can maybe say it's better, but really think about just playing those games that you're taking rules from. But I advise you take rules from if you're going to do it. The big advice is know what games are out there, really. Don't assume because someone writes on the front of their book, this is the world's greatest role-playing game, doesn't mean it's the world's greatest role-playing game. It just means they say that. Again, there's no law saying you can't claim you're the world's greatest blank. And so anyone can say that they're the best in the world. That means nothing. On this list, 5e is consistently low. RPG.net rates 5e the 459th greatest role-playing game. I don't agree with everything they say, but that's probably about right. You say there's probably a few more than 1,000 RPGs. I'd say there's about 1,000 RPGs that anyone has played any that more than one group has played more than one session of. Saying that there's 1,000 and like grouping games that are effectively the same game, but it's an increasing addition to just mess with the rules a little bit, grouping them as the same. Dungeons and Dragons has kind of really major changes with every edition. Don't say they're the same. Call of Cthulhu has been pretty much the same. You might argue that the most recent edition has had some enough major changes to differentiate it from the earlier ones. But even then, they're all Call of Cthulhu is kind of the same. I mean, really look if you're converting. Like, there are conversion guides at the back of the Keeper's Manual for this current edition of Call of Cthulhu. And you need to convert from previous editions, but it's still really the same game. So yeah, counting all of the editions that are the same as the same game, all of the editions that are different as a different game, there's probably about 1,000 games that, and more than one group has played more than one session in. And you can probably nitpick that, but spirit of that, Anyway, I'm going to I'll just make this an update. I'm still unemployed, still with my parents. I'm going to probably upload a series of my thoughts on GMing style coming up. Probably tonight even. Right after this, I'll upload a video on miniature play versus theater of the mind play. And work on that. Don't be surprised if I might not. I keep saying things on this channel I'm going to do, and then I don't upload for months. And I wasn't going to upload again. I was just going to be like, that was a waste. But some of my videos had like 20 views. One of my videos had like 20 views. I got a comment on one recently, and I was like, why not? I'm not doing anything. I did kind of have, I don't know. Job search is going well. I think I'm gonna get a job in the next couple of weeks. I could be wrong. I've thought that before, but I think it's gonna turn around here, hopefully. Don't be surprised if I start doing like high-level Guild Wars 2 tutorial videos, like how to play specific end game, but not end game content. I don't know. Let's see on the flip side.